Hey, Richard Cole. Rich is talking. Sorry I've been remiss. I've had a busy week. I had a good friend visiting me all week, so I didn't get to this. And a lot happened as usual. Things are happening every day in this political world in 2024. The big thing is that Kamala Harris decided that she was only visiting friends when she was going on interviews, like The View and Stephen Colbert, ABC, things like that. And so she decided that she would go on Fox News. But she played games with Fox News. She would go with Brett Baer, who's as neutral an anchor as any of them, and probably better than most of them nowadays. And so they said they would give him an hour. So he got all prepared for an hour-long interview. Then about an hour before she was to show up, they said it's going to be a half an hour. So he had to quickly change his interview questions and everything to try to get in what he wanted. And then she said, they said she would be there at 5 o'clock. And she got there 10 minutes late, which then cut it down to 20 minutes. This is the game that Obama played a few years ago. Then it forces the other person, the interviewer, to interrupt to try to get all the questions in. And surely that's what happened. He would ask her a question and she would just pontificate and filibuster all over the place. So he would then have to interrupt. Madam Vice President, could I ask you this? Could you answer this? And she didn't directly answer that. As usual, those idiots over on CNN and MSNBC said she was great, she was marvelous, she was so brave to go on her into the lion's den, met this very rude Brett Baer, and it was horrible the way he treated her. Well, here's just an example of him asking her a question, and she's beating around the bush and gives a stupid answer.
You've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about.
I remember some time ago when she was first in office as vice president, something similar happened. Remember this?
There's one other topic I wanted to talk to you about, but let me just quickly put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Well,
That's her. I see people on MSNBC and on Bill Maher, all these people on TV saying, how can anyone in their right mind vote for Donald Trump, a convicted felon? 39 counts of felony he was found guilty of. How can anyone support that man? Plus, they say he's a convicted rapist and a sex abuser. First of all, he was never convicted of rape. Sex abuser, a woman goes into the fitting room with him in the middle of the afternoon and then says, oh my goodness, he came on to me. And what was she expecting? Why would she go into there? That's leading a guy on. Then she charges him with sexual abuse. 20 years later, that's the charge. As far as other charges, they're just baloney in there. They're going to overturn the one where they increased the value of the property owned. It's in the hands of the appeals court now, and they have come out with what some of the judges are asking, and they're saying this is completely out of order. They think that thing is going to be thrown out. So that will show, what's happening there. So anyway, why can we vote for Trump? We remember what it was like under Trump when he was president. Everybody was happy, including you Democrats were happy the way things were going. Since the Biden-Harris administration took over, here's what's happened to their prices. Also, those of you who have daughters, you want men running into their high school girls' room, boys running around in there. Do you want, when you go into a locker room in your gym, some big hung guy walking in there undressing in front of you? If you're a woman, this is what you get with Harris, the Harris administration. You want men playing in women's sports? Do you want that? That's what you're going to get with the Harris administration. Men should not be in women's sports. I get all upset about this. The whole reason women's sports exists is that women can't compete with men. Otherwise, they would just be a mixed sport. There are men's sports, there are women's sports. Now, the Democrats, the liberals, are allowing men to enter the women's sports. And you're voting for that? I'd rather vote for Trump, the convicted felon of something that wasn't even a felony. That's where I stand. You know, there's a guy named Mark Halperin who keeps track of the polls, what's going on. And it's kind of interesting. I'd like you to listen to what he's saying as of yesterday.
And certainly not enough to change the people who form their perceptions off of the public polling, change it in a dramatic way. It is still the sense that Donald Trump has more paths to 270 electoral votes, but that the battleground states, all 7 of them, could fall in either direction. And this is an unprecedented situation. No one expects the field of 7 to shrink or grow. 7 for the duration. And again, all 7 very much in play. There are outliers, and some analysts would say Trump's definitely going to win Arizona, or Trump's definitely going to win North Carolina, or Harris is definitely going to win Wisconsin. But there's not a lot of that, and part of why I make Trump the favorite right now, but not the absolute favorite, is because there are 3 states, 3 of the 4 Sunbelt states, where there are some Republicans not spinning, gauging an analysis, who believe Trump has got those, that he'll eventually win them. At this point, you can't say that about any of the blue wall states for Harris, and that's one of his advantages.
That sounds pretty encouraging. I don't want us to get too excited, but it does sound good that maybe some things will go our way and Trump will get elected. Halperin, while he leans a little to the right, is a pretty savvy, smart guy. He will be critical of the right if he thinks we are out of bounds. One final comment I'll make to end this. The betting, people bet on these, on everything, and you can bet on whether your peanut butter is sour or not. But the betting now showing Trump is leading with a 63.64 impaired probability to win, and Harris with a 39.68% probability to win. That's as of yesterday. Today, so I get the date right here, is October the 20th, Sunday morning. So thank you, and don't forget to go to the profile. If you're on TikTok, hit YouTube. When you get to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That means an awful lot to me. It's a lot of support, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.